Today we are continuing to build our LEGO Western World with some exciting updates. We'll introduce a herd of buffalo, build a shed for a group of bandits, and create a new mountain range, including a tunnel that will lead to our western city. But first of all, we have to finalize the stone arch that we've started in our last video. As you know, my son and I are working on this MOC together, and he had the idea to introduce this arch as a contrast to the big mountain in the back, and also to see if we could create an opportunity for some storytelling in the future. Like having some bandits hiding on top, for example, waiting for a stagecoach they can rob. It was a fun little experiment and turned out quite well. Let's look at the shed I mentioned. This was built using a mix of regular bricks and brick modifieds, and then we added some tiles on top to give it somewhat of a withered, abandoned look. Now you can see it a bit better when I remove some of the tiles. The roof comes with the same look and feel, patched up with wooden tiles in different colors, and instead of connecting the roof to the shed, we decided to simply lay it on top. This is stable enough so it doesn't slip off, and comes with the additional benefit of allowing easy access to the interior, as we are not just building this world to display it, but my son is actually playing with it as well. We wanted to set this shed next to the river, which will be quite a bit outside of the town we have planned for a future update. And as this will be a hideout for a group of bandits, the town will definitely not want to have them anywhere near their borders. So to find the right spot, I first removed some of the tiles my son had already added to the ground. Remember, this was the spot where our tribe of Native Americans used to live. They'll find a new home in a minute. And then I added the framework upon which to place the new shed. I also added some stones and texture around the entrance of the shed. And then I started with this little structure right next to the main shed. I think most of you will already guess what that is going to become. It has a sliding door mechanism, and you can see somebody is already sitting there enjoying a break when we come along and rip the roof away from them. We also added a small bunk bed to the shed, but haven't really included much more interior design at this point. Remember, these guys are out here surviving. They don't really have much to start with. I also teased that we wanted to introduce some buffalo to our world. And that is only fair. Our tribesmen need something to hunt after all. We found a design on Rebrickable for this animal, so shout out to Bison Builds WV. I'll share a link below the video in case you're interested. Well, and that looks much better, right? Our hunters will have something to do now and don't need to sit around all day. Okay, so the next part will be quite the big extension to our world. We are starting with another mountain range to complement the big mountain on the other side of the river, and to also create a more realistic canyon with our river flowing in between the two bigger mountains. Now, while my son is working on a smaller hill in the back, I'm starting to outline where the new mountain across the river will sit. Our idea is to also include a tunnel through the mountain that kind of connects the city we will build in a future update with the rest of our world. And since this mountain will be somewhat of a natural border to our city, this also works really well with the bandit shed we have just built. Here you can now see what the entrance of the tunnel will look like, and another feature that is important to us, well, it's not really a feature, but we always try to build our world in a modular way and, as modular as possible. That means if a structure grows across several base plates, we try to keep each part as independent as possible, so we can more easily move parts of our world around if needed. Now I want to show you how we are building the tunnel itself. It's a very easy and pragmatic build, I want to say, and we basically just place different slopes on top of each other to build the tunnel walls. And as you can imagine, at this point it definitely is not a very sturdy structure, but that will change once we raise the rest of the mountain and close the tunnel from the top. Speaking of, the top is simply constructed with long bricks, like 1 by 16 for example, and those long bricks rest on the two mountain parts I have raised on either side of the tunnel. Now here you can see what it looks like so far, and then all we need to do is we close it up completely and continue with the two halves of the mountain that now meet and connect above the tunnel. And then finally, the last thing for today's update is we've introduced another base plate, which will now become the new base camp of our Native Americans. Our idea is to have the river flow across the length of our world, with one side being dedicated to the western city and the other side to have a more natural look without any major structures or settlements, except of course our tribesmen. But all of that is definitely part of an upcoming video, as is the city of course, and other things we will continue, like raising our first mountain even higher and also bringing the mountain we've started in this video to a close. In any case, there's lots to do still, so you can look forward to many more updates. For now I want to say thanks a lot for tuning in today, also for subscribing to our channel of course, and we'll see you soon.